finance pastor. What an honor and a privilege it is to be welcomed into your home. What a wonderful and beautiful day. It is Easter Sunday. Happy Resurrection Sunday, where we get to celebrate the life, the death, burial, and resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. For many Christians out there who are celebrating this holy day in our calendar, just want to just pray blessings over you and your family as we remember the sacrifice that Jesus Christ did for you and I on that cross on Calvary. And what a day, and what a wonderful gift he gave to his people. What a day it is. It's beautiful Sunday. I had family over at my house for some Easter lunch, and I'm just getting a little chance to wanting to go over some of the things that are going to be happening in the stock market this week. There's a lot of things that are going to be playing out, but we're believing that there's going to be certain things that are going to be shaping the stock market. Now, this could be a very place of indecision mark for the stock market. There's so much headline risk that can tank this stock market that anything can go. We're at a very precipitous point and a very pivotal point in our economy right now where we could either go into a depression style type of economy, or we could really break every type of record and just really boom into this next season for the United States. But we are don't know where it happens. We're in a war of Iran. We're in currently in a war of words. President Trump just has issued an ultimatum on Sunday that if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened by Tuesday, he says, oh, hell's going to break loose in Iran. Is this good for the economy? Many people look at the short term and we see the prices of gas, how high the prices of gas is going. And not only this, people are feeling the pinch. Many people have to decide whether food or groceries. And we're in a place where many companies are now starting to pass the surcharges on its customers when prices are already at historically high prices right now. And we are seeing that the American people are not really seeing the relief that President Trump was touting. Many people thought this was going to be a straight ascension into the stratosphere for the stock market, but it has absolutely been the total opposite, where many people have lost many thousands of dollars, millions of dollars have been lost in 401ks. Many people are down 20, 25%. Some people are down 10, 15. Many people are feeling the uncertainty. Many people who were just bullish on just President Trump being God's choice and believing that this is it, you're starting to find out that we don't worship man, and good happens to the bad happens to good people too. There's no straight up in this economy. We see that God says that he sets up kings and he puts down kings, and we've seen that God's hand is at work. But now many Christians now find themselves in a very predicament place where they were so bullish on President Trump. Now Republicans or Christian Republicans are now starting to feel what many Democrats were feeling when they support their candidate. When you have a candidate, you technically got to go with everything that they do. And you're starting to see that many Republicans are really staying silent on the actions of President Trump is doing right now. Many of the things, the worship of a leader, the worship of these policies, and you start seeing how many Republican Christians are really acting like Democrat Christians when the Democrats were in party. So you start seeing that there is no separation. There's not, Jelly Roll said it best. Jesus is not the party of the Republicans. He's not in the party of the Democrats. He's about the Lamb's agenda. And we're starting to see now that we have the Christian community has found itself in a place where they have to be all in on one candidate or all or nothing. And we have found ourselves that we have associated ourselves with a candidate. He's not a perfect man. One can argue that he's needs Jesus himself. So you starting to see that many people and many Republicans are starting to see the dumb stuff that President Trump is saying. And there's a lot of dumb stuff that he's saying. I don't agree with everything he says, just like I didn't agree with everything that any other president said. So you start seeing that when you get into the political movement. Now, yes, Christians should be involved in the politics. I always get that question. We should be involved. Now, many Christians before would argue, okay, Christians are not involved in politics. Now, the one thing I would say is that in the last 15, 16 years, Christians have been involved in politics, except the vote has been splintered. We see that many half the Christians are Democrats, half the Christians are Republicans, and a lot of it has to do with how one was brought up, the economic effects. There's also the poverty gospel. There's this, there's this, the self-help gospel. You have the seeker friendly gospel. You have all these things that are happening in the United States, and we're starting to see a lot of the prophecies that brother David Wilkerson said many years ago, that God is going to start shaking the church first. And we are seeing that many people who have aligned themselves with one political party are really finding themselves in some deep doo-doo right now, because of all the stupidness and the nonsense that a candidate says. And I have to remind a lot of people, many of these candidates will never shake your hand. And we throw ourselves into the backs of all these people who would never really do anything for us. Now, I'm all for speaking, fighting for truth. I'm all for that. I'm not against saying anything against it, but we have to position ourselves in a place and saying, okay, Republicans are acting just like Democrats. Democrats, you're acting just like Republicans did when they were outraged. So you're starting to see is that we're all the same people. Facts. We're all the same people. And we're starting to see that God has us in a place where I think He wants to bring forgiveness. God wants to bring forgiveness into His church. And I think that what we do as fellow believers, that sometimes the only Bible that people read is us. And we have to start seeing that if we can be light, if we can be salt and light, who else are people going to look up to? So I would challenge you guys today is be salt and light. Be salt and light. It's not about a political party. It's not about being Republican. It's not about being a Democrat. It's not about serving a donkey. It's not about serving an elephant. It's about the Lamb of Lamb, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Lamb that was slain for our iniquities. You have to look at it that way. And as business entrepreneurs in the marketplace, we get a chance to affect many people who would never walk through the walls of a church. As a business entrepreneur, you know that your place of business can change the atmosphere. You know your spirit and what you do in a place of business can change the atmosphere of anywhere you go. And you're starting to see that many of us are starting to see that God is raising up an army of people that will worship Him in spirit and in truth. But He's also looking at people that will serve Him outside of the church walls. Many people believe that ministry is only done inside the church. But I'm here to tell you that the only Bible that people read is you. And sometimes we look at how we conduct ourselves in a place of business. Am I being a follower of Christ? Can someone look at me and by watching how I work, how I conduct myself, see me as a person that they want to look up to or who they want to emulate? And that's what we're starting to see right now, that many people, God has put them in a place where they can really bloom where they're planted. And if you're in a season and you don't know what to do, I'm here to encourage you. Just bloom where you're planted. God is giving you every tool you need to complete your assignment. Many people find themselves in a place where I know I'm called, but I don't know who I'm called to. I would ask myself these four questions. Number one, whose tears affect you? Number two, whose enemies are you willing to confront? Number three, whose story causes you pain. Number four, is the God given message downloaded to your spirit? Is it to the younger version of you? Is it to the younger version of you? Many of you have calls and many of you have this unction to serve God's people. And you're looking for a place of wondering, what should I do? I would start asking yourselves those questions and see where God leads you. I want to look at a few stocks here and just go over a few things that I feel like we need to be prepping for the this new week that's happening. We are going to be Tuesday is going to be a very pivotal day. Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and we have a pivotal airlines report. Many of the major airlines are reporting this week. We're going to see some of these effect of gas prices. You're going to start seeing that airline prices are going to go up. That's why you don't see certain tickets for certain places not be booked 3 or 4 or 5 months in advance because of gas prices. So you're starting to see that many people are either going to be paying more for airline tickets, and you're going to be seeing that a lot over the next few weeks. And we're going to be seeing a lot of those things pan out over the next few weeks. So I want to share my screen with you guys. All right, I want to take a look at the SPX right now. So last week, we closed at 6,582. So we see this nice little drop, and look at it, almost looks like a little curve that we're doing right here. But if you start looking at if broke a floor over here over that 650, 659, and I am seeing that if this stock continues to break this pattern right here, continues to break this right here right now, the 6230 range will be the next stop for the S&P 500 if it continues to go down. This stock has still a long way to go. If it continues to fall, I will look at a place around that $6,000 range. So you have two pivotal ranges. If this stock continues to fall, I will see another drop into, like, probably the S&P can fall another 2 to 300 points, and that is very possible. We have seen the S&P go up 75, 100 points, down 90, down 60, down 80, up 90. We have seen this in the last few months. If you could just look at this down, look at all these downturns, up, down, then down, up. If you're a swing trader, you have had a lot of difficult time if you were playing the long-term game. Now, if you're looking more as a day trader, you have taken advantages of these moves. But if you're long trader, swing trader, position trader like myself, these moves have not panned out, and we are starting to see a lot of things and a lot of pullback over the S&P SPX right there. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Similar pattern. Just it almost looks like we're looking at the S&P 500. It was up 25 points, but like again, another place of indecision right here. This 22.9, this 23,000 area is a place that if this stock comes back down, it'll probably hit this place. So this stock has a lot of leeway to go to the downside. If we were to go really down, 22,000, that 22,000 mark could be a place if the NASDAQ goes down. This means I've really hit up a lot of the tech companies. This is a really a precipitous drop if it goes down to this manner. Now, could this stock turn around? And that's the thing, it could turn around. And if we're looking at a turnaround, you could see this go all the way up to the 25,000, 26,000 range, which is kind of the top of that market. And we're seeing a lot of we could see a lot of moves like that, but the next few weeks is going to be telltale sign of what could happen in the stock market. Dow Jones, it broke this pattern that it had right here, had it going up. If you were doing swing trading, these are beautiful swing trading patterns, position trading. Now, if you were trading to the downside, If you were position trading the puts on the Dow Jones, on the diamonds, you have done very well. This has actually followed a pattern where over in the last year towards November-ish, it kind of was in a sideways pattern. These are patterns right here where I like to trade credit spreads. These are credit spreads strategies for me, which is what I like. Let's look at Apple. Apple, again, another great stock. We've been talking about it. This stock is in a place of indecision. If it hits that 248 mark, if it continues to hit that 248, 235, this could be a place. I'm not saying it is, but this could be a place where you have institutional buying. Apple is still a good stock. Apple has income that comes in. And like myself, I I I have a Mac. I've had a Mac for 15 years. So this is something like a Mac head like myself will always be loyal to the Apple brand. Mac, again, this is another company, great dividend, one that I would have in my portfolio. Let's talk about Netflix. So Netflix is one of those that I love. I've been talking about this stock for the last few months. I'm going to move this over so you guys can look at. I have been this I drew months ago. So this is a pattern where I have felt that Netflix has a lot of institutional buying around that red area. Now, this stock could go up, but also it could go down. Right now is in a place of indecision. So I would look at this stock cautiously, but if this stock does fall down, I would look to load up on this stock. This is to me is people watch Netflix. I know a lot of people don't align with the political views of its CEO and founder, but this is the thing. It's about money. It's about money. Subscriptions, those really make a difference. So people are, no matter your political affiliations, people are still subscribing to Netflix. So I like Netflix. So this one should be in your buy list. QQQ, again, following the NASDAQ, I would look at what this stock is doing. I would not be shocked if the Qs takes off tomorrow, but also there's so much headline risk with Iran, with President Trump, that this stock could get beat up again tomorrow. If this stock continues to get beat up like the rest of the stock market, I could see a floor around that 540, 538 range could be our floor for this stock. Now, if it does fall, this for me, in my opinion, and this is just opinion, I'm a drawer here. I think this could be a long position right here. All right. You guys see how I do this stuff. Okay. So right now, if I look at the QQQ right here, if this stock goes into this range right here, this is a buy point for me. Totally a buy point. Nasdaq, and this is technology is going to drive the company, the country. Let's be point blank, and technology is going to run the country. So you look at it from a future perspective and say, okay, if 5, 10 years, where do I think technology is going to be? And if it's going to be more than double, I'll be looking to load up on this stock. The QQQ is a great investment for the long term investor. If you're the type of investor that you say to yourself, I don't want to be focused every day on trading stocks, but I want something that I know I can make 11%, 12% a year. QQQ is an ETF that I would consider. It's one of those that I would add into my portfolio. Let's look at SPY. So the SPY follows the S&P 500. So you're starting to see a lot of the same movements here. You're going to be seeing this curve pattern right here. And depending on what the stock market does, there's so much headline risk news. You're starting to see that a lot of these patterns just really are following the same thing of all the other stocks here. So let's look at, I'm gonna, so right here, Jets. It's an ETF. This right here, I would look at a candidate. I would look at a candidate for the downside. And this is where I feel like the airline industry is not going to be reporting favorable news this weekend or this week. So this industry, this ETF could get beat up if it falls into the $22 range. $21 range, $20 range. I would consider buying this. This is a stock that's almost like Ford. This stock trades within the range of $23 and about $28. If you wait for the stock to come down to the $22, I would look on loading up. This is a stock that follows a lot of the transportation industry. If you're looking at Delta, American Airlines, US Airways, this is a stock that travels and tracks a lot of those. Carnival, also the shipping industry. So a lot of that focuses is on this ETF. If you're a person that doesn't want to pick one stock company over another, this is a great way to pick one that you may like. Let's look at Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean, this stock has gotten beat up. Uh, Royal Caribbean, this stock has gotten beat up for a little bit. It has some nice highs over here in the $350 range, but almost like a head and shoulders, not quite, but it's had a very choppy season right here. Royal Caribbean has had a precipitous move to the upside. This stock right here was like a, a $80 stock just 2 years ago, and it just taken off. Now it has taken a huge breather from the highs, but this is another stock that I would consider. I'm not saying this is what you do, but this stock I would consider having in my trading portfolio. This would be also a candidate that I would look for credit spreads. This is one that it's in a range where you can actually do some credit spreads in this. I would look in that 230 235. I would look in that range here. So Royal Caribbean is one that I would add in my portfolio. Christmas every day with Amazon. Amazon is a stock that I like. It's also has gotten beat up because of what has happened in the stock market. Amazon and many other companies have been uh, basically threatened by Iran of maybe some global attacks. And that's something that you must pay attention to. If Iran disrupts the global network, this could mean a lot of losses for a lot of people here. So, whatever happens in Iran this week is pivotal. Could there be peace? I'm hoping for peace, but there's also a lot of unsettled business there, and we have to see is what's going to happen over the next few days. Will this regime in Iran succumb and say, "Hey, we want peace," or will they keep fighting and want more blood? So this is something that we're gonna have to see. But Amazon, I'm bullish on this company, but I'm also right now is in a consolidation pattern right now. If you can see this right here, look at this consolidation right here. I'm also considering that this stock here has never filled this gap right here to the 194. I said this a few weeks ago. I feel that if the stock market comes back down and Amazon goes back down with it, Amazon's going to fill this gap right here that it is around the 234 range, or that, excuse me, the 192 range, where I believe that it can fill this gap up. So I am looking towards that. If it goes down that range, I would look that possibly that 160 could be the next leg, or it could go back and turn around. Amazon is one of those companies that institutions will buy because it's longevity. People use Amazon, and that's one of the things that I think people look at over here with Amazon as a stock. AMD AMD has taken off. It's done pretty well, but its office highs of that 270 is in the 217 range. AMD just really took off. It was in a downward pattern for almost a year. And then it just, on April of last year, it went from like 70 and it just took off. So this is another stock that, man, if I, I wish I would have stayed in there. So I didn't. I sold one of those. I wish I would have stayed. But AMD, I do like what Lisa Su is doing. She's an incredible CEO, and I believe that she's doing a phenomenal job. With Meta, let's talk about Meta. Meta is a phenomenal stock company. I feel like Meta's always at the beginning or in the middle of the next big thing. Mark Zuckerberg, you may not agree with him, but he's an innovative person and he owns three of the biggest social media network, which is Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. The amount of exposure and the amount of people that he has access to is really truly amazing. This is a big thing is when you have customers, you can offer a lot of products. And Facebook and Meta is at a place where they control your eyeballs. They control our eyeballs here. So you have that. I think Meta's in a turbulent place right now, but also Meta's also in a good place for credit spreads. It's in a range where you can see that, hey, you can make money on credit spreads on Meta, which is what I like. Russell 2000, Russell 2000. I'm in the Russell 2000. So currently, I'm in a credit spread all the way under here. I'm in the 2195, 2200. So I got 41 cents. So if you're looking at it, think of it as for every $500, you get 41 bucks back. So it's not like a huge you're doubling your money, but it's one of those that I'm just hitting a lot of base hits in the stock market. So Russell 2000 again, even though it carries a lot of the mid cap companies in America, it's still one of those stocks that I like to trade. Uh, let's look at Ford. I like Ford, and Ford has had a precipitous drop from that $14 range. I have said this time and time again. I've traded for Ford about 3 or 4 years. It has a range of 11 to 15 bucks. This is more of a covered call, long term type of stock. So this is the type of stock that if you have long term vision, for an example, with $1,100 or 11 or 1,200, you could buy 100 shares of Ford stock and do covered calls. You're making in a year with dividends about 9 to 10% off a stock that doesn't really move. That's not bad. So this is one of the things that if you have stocks in your portfolio, it behooves you to understand what you have. And it's not, a lot of the game in stock market is really buying good stuff. I equate it to real estate. So with real estate, I like buying in neighborhoods that appreciate. Generally, I don't purchase in the multi-million dollar neighborhoods, and I don't purchase in the undesirable neighborhoods. I like to be in the middle. Many people call it the middle class area, the working class. Why? People always need somewhere to live. If you're rich and you're losing your income, you'll downgrade to a middle class. If you're poor and you want to upgrade your life, you first go to the middle class area. So it's like that good go between. And the middle class areas where I like to really invest in. And stocks like Ford is like a middle class stock. It's a steady Eddie. It's not going to be very boisterous. It's not going to be very loud. It's just going to be steady Eddie. They have the number one best selling pickup truck in America, which is the F 150, which I drive one. So, and many millionaires drive F-150s, if you didn't know that already. So, but like we looked at these stocks and we're excited to what's going to be happening. Uh, there's so much happening over this weekend. We look at Nvidia stock; it's been beat up quite a bit. So Nvidia's had a little tough couple of days over here, but it's been consolidated. It's in a consolidation phase, and we don't know what's next here with Nvidia. BM&R, Tom Lee, again, this stock is consolidating. I love Ethereum. I love what Tom Lee stands for, but this stock has gotten beat up. I mean, I took a hit on this stock. So I'm not afraid to share my losses on this one. But on this one, I took a hit on this one. I bought the shares, but it has just dropped. I mean, it's just been not good. I've actually just taken the money that I had in the stock and bought Ethereum. It bought the actual stuff. So, it's kind of one of those things. So I love Tom Lee. I may load up more on this one, but I'm waiting right now. Let's look at my favorite, Tesla. Tesla has been in no man's land over here. And again, Tesla is I don't even know what Elon wants to do. If he wants to make this a car company or is it a robot company? So Tesla is in a place of indecision. Again, it is in falling in a range here where it's consolidating. This could be a range, this 320, 330 to 360 range. There's a lot of institutional buying in previous attempts. But let's see. This could be the retail trader. This could be the person that wants to just load up on this stock. But I've had a hard time swing trading this stock. This has been more of a credit spread type of stock and been doing just front month credit spreads on this one. So Palantir, good stock, has gotten beat up. Again, if it goes into that $127 range, I would consider buying it. That's a lot of institutional buying right there. So Palantir would be one of those that I would put in my watch list. You never know when this stock is going to take off. War is money. War is money, and you never know when these stocks are going to take off. But I wanted to just take a time on this beautiful Easter Sunday and just say hello and just making sure you guys are doing phenomenal. I hope you have a great week. Stock trading in your place of business, in your place of work, with your families. May you, if you're an entrepreneur and you're here, God has designed you for such a time as this. Many of you have gifts that I'm unaware of where you just find your genius in many areas. And I would encourage you to develop the gifts and skill sets that you have. God has given you every tool you need to complete your assignment. Everything you need, God has given you. And I'm here to encourage you guys to know that God is in control. He hasn't forgotten you. And I hope to see you guys next time. So God bless you guys. I hope to talk to you guys soon. If you haven't followed me, follow me at the Finance Pastor on social media, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, everything. And I'll keep you guys posted. So